All right, hopefully you can hear me, but I haven't made a video in a while, so I thought today was a good day. This is my 2022 Sur Ron X edition is what they called it. And I've made, maybe a handful of videos before this and just expressing how much I like this little e-bike for what it is. And I'm just going to talk to you today more about it and make a video. So here we go. Let me walk back over there. Today, I'm in a creek that I grew up in as a little boy. I'm 50, will soon be 52 years old. And I grew up in this creek maybe, when I was 5 and 6 years old. My parents would play tennis right over up the hill right over there. So we would come down here and play while they were playing tennis. So really, really cool. We got this really, Dallas, Texas in the Lockwood area. We have this white stone, it's why it's called White Rock. The general area in White Rock Lake is not far away, but back to the Sur Ron. Let me catch my breath. It's been an amazing bike. I haven't made videos, because it's been like 103 to 107, typically about, 103, 104 with a heat index of about 110. It's just not fun, and I don't like to really be outside when it's that hot. And Texas is unlike a lot of places. People in Mississippi, in Louisiana, probably South Florida can identify more with Texas, because 103 here is more like 115 in Arizona or other parts of the region. So it's just really, really ridiculously hot, and it's dangerous hot more than that. But the Sur Ron is really cool because of its price. It's about $4,500. There's like $200 shipping. That was at least to Texas. I don't know if it's going to be more expensive, to other places, but I think it was like $4,200. I don't think I paid any tax on it, but for that value, this is an incredible, fun machine. Again, I get people that comment, every once in a while, I was like, this guy doesn't know what he has, or what's this guy's experience he's speaking from. But I grew up in the 70s and the 80s real quick, and I raced XR80, CR62 stroke. They weren't 65s back then. And in my 80s, I had three two-stroke 80s, Honda and Kawasaki, and those weren't 85s back then. They were 80s. And I rode those for, 10, 15 years. While I was growing up, from about 9 up, and then I graduated to a really kick-ass, 87 CR125, and raced that and raced that a lot at Mosier Valley and different places, and that was a great, really, super machine. It was a Honda CR125, and so I got all kinds of two-stroke, and then I graduated to in the 2000s to racing four strokes. I had the 250F, a 426, a 450, and then I worked at 3 dealerships, and so I rode Yamahas, Kawasaki's, Hondas. I rode everything, big street bikes, 1000cc, all the way down to toy bikes that we would play around in the parking lot as we were putting them up. Every day I rode. Every single day I rode a different bike, pretty much. But back to the Sur Ron. So really cool bike. I'm going to turn my key off. Great value. I added, which I think is really, really cool. Let me grab my camera real quick. Parts I added just to make this, a better bike, in my opinion. I spent about $500, which is probably $500 more than I should have spent, but it's all fun. I got a extended rear fender, which is a lot better than some of the rear fenders, where this one is contoured and has some lines to it, and it's more 250F 450 type rear fender. I got what I think is really cool, and I like a lot, is this little piece that moves my my display from right here to right here. I got someone online that was pretty angry with me, insistent, bashing me that I was trying to compare this to the Talaria Sting and trying to get viewers of that of that crowd, but I was like, man, it slipped my mind, because they have a different display. But this is a really cool display that you can move to the center, and I really like that. I've got upgraded Shimano pads that everyone recommends. I've had this stuff since about a week after I had the bike, and then I've got the front pads there. Sorry, I got my camera mounted to a tripod. And then I got the carbon fiber, which I really like, is the carbon fiber wrap on my my battery case. Just something I was like, man, maybe get that and just protect the outer body of my battery. Plus, it looks just really, really cool. So I got that, and I think those are $30, $20, $35. Really affordable pegs, no eBay crap. From a dealer that sells these. These were like $40 compared to $100 with these fancy milled out and these little screws with different colors. That doesn't, I mean, they're cool. I mean, if I just had money oozing out of my pockets, and I wanted to just really trick out my Sur Ron, those would be kind of neat to have, but not in the real world. I've got my 54 rear sprocket there with the non-O-ring chain from another company, which was a good buy. I think I picked up a little power there. And then I've got the upper taller bars from Sur Ron. I wasn't going to buy a $100 bar when you could buy the same bar for $45, $40. It's been a great bar as far as riding Sur Ron at the Sur Ron level. What else do I have? Oh yeah, just touch base. I knew right offhand that it needed that peg support. And was 205 pounds, but I caught COVID Omicron about a month ago, and I lost about 15 pounds. So now I'm about 190, which is a blessing. I'll take that any day, losing a little bit of weight. But the Sur Ron's been great, and such an amazing bike for what it is. Now to talk to the basis. I've had it since mid-December 2021, and I've been riding it 2022. Like I said, it's really, really, really hot right now. It's in the evening time, so if I were to do this differently, this is a great bike for just general purpose riding, around where I live. No big, super big, trails. I'm not going to take this to a motocross track. I would just be embarrassed. It is down on power. Once you ride this for a while, it's not super thrilling anymore. Now, I don't know if my battery hasn't degraded any. I take very good care of my battery, and I keep it charged. I don't drop it lower than 10%. I typically would charge it to 95%, just like Tesla battery owners. And, the owner of Tesla recommends, these are the similar batteries, the Sanyo batteries that are in some of the Tesla cars and many of the other total EV cars. And so there's a practice to maintaining your battery. But I think my battery's super healthy. It's just I got used to the power. But if I were to do this again, it just depends on how much money you want to spend. This is like $4,500. I would, seriously consider a KTM, the electric KTM bike. And I read, research, just heard that the 2018, maybe the 2018.5 got an upgrade in the battery size. So that's a huge deal. So it's got a bigger battery. So I would probably buy, a 2019, but it comes with an 18 rear and a 20 something front. I mean, more motocross oriented, bigger tires, more power output, and they're probably about 11.5 if you can find them. So to go, a lot better shock, rear shock, a lot better fork, more serious trail, potential motocross oriented. So I mean, to go in and sink in $1,500 for a Dorado fork, a Manitou fork, and then another $1,400 for an upgraded rear shock, and then $3,000, $4,000 for a new controller and a new bigger battery. And I still think the KTM would outshine this. It's just a bigger bike, and outshine the Talaria. It's just a more adult oriented full-time serious dirt bike, you know, with an EV battery source. So, you know, instead of sinking the money into this platform, I think it would be, there's other alternatives that I would do. But for this bike, I'm super happy with this. I've had so much fun. It's so easy to ride, so easy to move into the house. This weighs about 110, 115 pounds, and the KTM weighs about 230, 240. So there's a difference. You know, it'd be less manageable. It looks more like a dirt bike. I think this looks more like a, you know, type of electric kids bike, you know, and it allows me to go places that I wouldn't be able to go on the KTM or any other bike. People typically smile at me. You know, the KTM is definitely more dirt bike looking and would get more frowns from people and more attention from the police. I ride this freaking everywhere and have a blast when I'm riding it. So, to, you know, finish up this video, oh man, my bones are getting old. As you can see, I'm sweating because it's probably about 95 degrees and I'm in the shade. But everything's been amazing with this bike, you know, and for what it is, you know, I've had people saying, you know, you didn't buy a 450 motocross bike, you know, it's just people that, you know, I don't know what they're thinking, you know, and maybe I don't convey things as well as I should. This is by no means whatsoever a 250F or a 450F. And I just want to say that because I don't want people to watch my videos and think, you know, get the wrong impression. This is just not that machine. So, you know, with that in mind, you know, it's just an easy bike to ride and have a lot of fun with, riding around the neighborhood. You know, if I could take it to some really cool trails, you know, and just trail ride it, it'd be a fun thing to do. But I just don't have a truck and the trails are too far away. But I got the Shinko rear tire on the back. Not the widest one, but I think it's a 2.75, and that is a great tire. And I'm running the stock front tire, and it's a great front tire for what I do. You know, gravel, grass, rock, sidewalks, streets, an amazing, pretty, you know, I've had no times where I've been like, man, I don't have the traction I need. And this rear tire, Shinko 244, has been a really great tire too. Great traction. So everything I got on this is an amazing package for what it is. So I just want to pass that along and make a new video and, you know, stay relevant. But yeah, I mean, I would someday, you know, start Varg, you know, but that's definitely, you know, if they make a street version of that, an enduro street version, I would be, you know, into that, because as I'm getting older, 52, and I'll be 53, you know, riding hardcore in the trails and in this heat is just not where my enthusiasm has headed. And, you know, maybe someday I would like to upgrade the controller and the battery and get that bigger, but then, you know, that just runs into reliability issues. You know, people that do that, you know, wires come undone, their process of hooking everything up, you know, avoids warranty. Also too, when you bypass a battery, you're bypassing all the safety features of the battery that comes in the bike. So you have to monitor how close you get it down to zero. I mean, you could just damage your battery beyond recovery, or overcharge it, or, you know, draw too much power from it. I mean, there's just all kinds of things. It has, when you bypass that, it has all these safety things, little chip that's built into it that monitors all that for you and protects your battery. So it's another thing to keep in mind. You know, it's very easy to damage a battery, and these batteries are $1,500 or $1,600. It's a big chunk of the price of the bike. But other than that, I think I've covered everything. Hope you enjoyed my creek view. I'll do a little 360 of this little creek that I grew up, and it floods torrential when it torrentially rains, and the water's up high and it becomes rapids. And there's a waterfall right over here. Maybe I'll show you that real quick. This is the little path that I have to go up. And there's poison ivy. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to take a bath when I get home. But let's pan the camera around. There's the waterfall over there, and it's slippery, so slippery with that moss. Oh, you're in trouble if you step on that. And then it comes around and it goes up there to some houses that are on this little kind of makeshift creek. And then we just come around. You're going down and you're going to get stinky sludge on your pants. And I'm sure over 40 years that this has tamed down a little bit because of wear. Make sure I don't fall. But that's not going to look as steep as it is. But I think we used to slide down that potentially, and then into some big water down there. And this just turns into a massive whirlpool when it rains. But look at that. How cool is that? It'd be fun to ride your bike down that if it wasn't so slippery. That's the video. Thanks for everyone for watching. Hopefully some entertaining content, new content, you know, and you learned something, maybe not. And I'll catch me on future videos. If I have anything exciting, I'll be making a video. Okay, thanks for viewing. Bye-bye. Poison ivy, poison oak, likely poison oak all over here, so I got to stay away from this. Whew, yikes. I'm going to basically walk this up because this rock is so slippery. And I don't really want to bash the underneath with my weight because I am about 195 pounds. I don't want to touch any of the poison oak. I'd like to ride up that, but it's just not worth it. Also, something I wanted to cover, just because when you're talking about the bike, you don't think about it. But when you modify your battery in your controller and you go to these bigger batteries and put in more power output, you got to be aware that you're going to affect the reliability of, you know, the parts on this bike. You're going to go through sprockets and teeth probably twice as fast. You know, a rear sprocket was $55, $60 a chain, $50, $65. You're probably going to be hitting, you know, obstacles harder, so you might go through a headset. You're definitely going to need to upgrade the shock, the front and the rear shock, because you're just going to be hitting things harder and riding faster. So it's not just upgrading the battery and the controller that you're looking into, unless it's just a pure street machine. But other than that, I just wanted to touch base, and this bike's been 100% reliable. I've ridden it a lot. I've got, fairly a lot. In 6 or 7 months I've had it. I've got about 1,700 miles on it. And, you know, ride it fairly aggressive for what it is. Nothing's broken on it. Still very, very tight. People email or, you know, post on my YouTube channel and say, man, my bike feels like a piece of junk, or it's real wobbly and it doesn't feel real tight. And they didn't really provide any more explanation. You know, it's like, did you buy this used, secondhand, third hand? Do you do any maintenance to it? You know, when I bought my bike new, I took all the suspension linkage apart, the headset, and re-lubed with high quality, thicker grease, and re-lubed everything and tightened everything up. You know, there's a lot that goes into preserving your machine. I don't ride this in, you know, just pure mud and water. You know, in the trails. I mean, that would probably be fun. I'm just not a big enduro, you know, drive this through rivers and through creeks and just bash it against rocks and, you know, jump up logs and just use my skid plate as an abuse plate. So, I mean, if you ride your bike that way, you're going to have to do more maintenance on it, and your chain's going to wear out quicker, your bearings are going to wear out faster, and that's basically just the rule of thumb. So adding more power, you're going to decrease the reliability, you're going to spend more money. So, you know, upgrading, I think, even more to the KTM EXC or whatever they refer to their little electric bike as. It's not little, you know, it's a mid-size machine. So I just think that would probably be a better solution rather than just keep this as a fun bike, a play bike. You know, you can do some serious things on this, don't get me wrong, but there are better machines for different purposes. But other than that, that's it. All right, here's something I have to do every day. Run this up the stairs like that, and take my bike inside because my neighborhood is not super safe. Dallas is not super safe. So if you leave something in your garage, my garage has been broken into once and I had about $7,000 worth of stuff stolen. And people watch you, and so they know if you keep something like this in your garage, it's probably going to get stolen. So you got to keep it in your house. And I have plenty of firearms, and you got to have a lot more balls to come into someone's house. And I'm here a lot. And then when I leave, people don't know if I'm gone or here, and my car's inside a garage. So you're walking into a potentially bad situation to get something of mine. See how easy that was to come up the stairs and have it, and now I can just maneuver it through the door, through the hallway, and just park it in there in my kitchen area. And it's just so easy to maneuver. Great, I love it because of that. It's so light and so nimble and so easy to maneuver.